Good morning, Coach Washington Sports Talk. How's it going? This is Coach Washington Sports Talk with Coach DeArmond Washington. How's everybody doing? Hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Again, hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Today's topic: whose fault is it that my son or daughter doesn't have a scholarship? Let's talk about it. The topic came up. I hear a lot of parents always complaining about my kid or daughter doesn't have a scholarship. It's the coach's fault. The coaches over there don't like my kids. They're not selling my kids. They're not selling my kids to the coaches coming in. They're not pushing my son. I'm hearing mainly from football parents. The coach in basketball too. The coach is not pushing my son. He's not putting him out there. He doesn't have a scholarship because the coach is not out there pushing my son or daughter, whatever, whoever. They're not pushing them. Okay. I heard from some coaches back in the day that, maybe said their head coach, that wasn't his thing, or his or her thing. But we're talking about 2024. You really can't put it all on the coaches that your son or daughter doesn't have a scholarship. Now, the coaches come through the high schools. They come through the high school doors. They come looking for players. They ask the coach, do you have a player? Blah, blah, blah. Do you have a player? We're looking for this type player. We like this type player. They come through looking for the coaches. First thing they're going to ask the play, they talk to the coaches about is grades. Is he a team player? What's his personality? Again, grades. He a team player? And what's his personality? Now they're going to ask him that. Now take a pause now. Because does your player have the grades? We talked about this in my last episode. What type of grades what type of player this coach is looking for when it comes to these grades? Unless he's some off the hook Power 5 rock star player, we know what type of grades these players need to have. 2.8, 2.7 is really not going to cut it. What type of player is he? Is he a team player? Is your player selfish? Is he all about the team first? And his behavior. That's the key one, behavior. Because are you the type parent that been on the coach's ass the whole time your player has been in high school? You've been on that coach's ass. You've been a thorn in his ass. Meaning, coach don't know how to coach. Coach don't know what he doing. Always got something negative to say about the coach. Coach this, coach that. Are you one of them parents? For years, they have been just bullying the coach. He don't know what he doing. And that trickles down to the athlete thinking the same thing. Not having respect for the coach, getting into it with the coach. Players and coaches butt heads all the time, but I'm talking about something else. Constantly jabbering the coach about his coaching skills, whatever. That leads to the trickle down to the player. Listening to that over the years, hearing that. Now he's bickering with the coach. Did you put that in his head or her head? Now he's bickering with the coach. Now you got these college coaches coming in looking for players. And now you want this coach to put all that to the side, be a better person. They should, but coaches are human too. So let's think about the attitude part of it. You've been at this coach's neck for years or for a year or whatever. Then all of a sudden, he's not human now. He ain't going to stick it to you. Because that's what's going on. I got something for you now. No, I wouldn't take this player in my program. This is why parents are constantly badgering the coaching staff. The parent is going to be a problem. It's just the parents, and it trickles down to the kids. And I've heard coaches tell me this. I know a coach who will say in basketball, a good friend of mine, he'll come to a kid's, he's recruiting, he'll go to a kid basketball game, sit in the crowd between the kids and the parents, just so he can hear what the other kids have to say about the player. Things like, oh, he dumb, they don't do their homework, oh, he smoke weed, he do this, he do that. He said he sit there amongst the kids, right between the kids and the players and the parents, so he can hear the comments that the kids talk about other kids. Sometimes these kids be truthful, they tell the truth. He's listen. Then he says he observes the parents. Yeah, they observe the parents too. Because you running around here acting a monk, acting crazy, don't nobody want to bring that into their program. So you got to look at yourself. That's the attitude part. How's his attitude, his behavior? Coach, this might not be a player you need to bring in your program. Might not need to bring him in the program. Kid might be all right, but his parents, you're not going to want to put up that. And when they get to college, they not putting up with you anyway. You don't run nothing. Your kid turn 18, they don't got to share no grades with you. They don't have to share any information with you. They're grown. They don't have to share information with you. But it's always the coach's fault. It's always the coach's fault that your son or daughter doesn't have a scholarship. Now, let's get into the parent part of it. Because we talked about does it have the grades when that coach comes in the schoolhouse? Does your player have a grade so the coach can sell your kid? It has the personality. Is he a team player? Maybe your son or daughter don't check those boxes, so the coach can't sell your son because don't got the grades, not a team player, and personality might suck. That could be a case for some kids, but not all. And then you got to ask yourself, do they check the requirements for a college player at his position? Do they check off all the boxes? Far as for his position, height, weight. Does he check the position? Does he check all the measurables for that position? It's always exception to the rules. So I did some research. I looked up Fayetteville State. I said I'm gonna look up some DBs on Fayetteville State and see how many kids under 6 foot they got playing DB at Fayetteville State. I just picked this particular school, Fayetteville State. I want to see how many DBs at Fayetteville State they got under 6 foot. And I think it may have only been one or two. I'm gonna repeat this: one or two DBs on that team that was under 6 foot. They had 6'3", 6'2", 6'1", 6 foot, 6 foot. I think the shortest may have been maybe 5'9". And this out of 5-something DBs. I don't hit 5 DBs before I seen like 5'9". And it was only maybe one or two players. So that's telling me that Fayetteville State is looking for 6 foot or better DBs. Then I went and looked at linebackers. Linebackers. 6'3", 6'2", in that range. That may have had one kid, maybe 5'10", 5'11", one. Maybe one linebacker that wasn't 6 foot. And the coach is not selling your son, D lineman. Them jokers going from 6'2", 6'3", in height. Over 270-something, 270, 80-something pounds. And the coach is not selling your son because he's 5'8", 230 D lineman. Oh, he's a 5'8", 175 linebacker. But that's the coach's fault. And I'm not picking on kids like that because some kids don't check the metrics, but they are straight ballers. Now that does happen to some kids. They don't check all the boxes. But when that whistle blow, they get to it. But you have to look at what's going on with these coaches. They're trying to keep their job. They need to check off kids in the metric box. Is the reason they need 6'3", 6'2", long arm defensive linemen for pass rush to bat the ball down. It's a reason. Maybe your kid don't check off the metric box. Now let's get into the parent part of it. As a parent, what have you done to market and sell your child to the college coaches? How many camps has your son attended? What type of camps? Did you spend all 4 years of high school just going D1? But a D1 camp that got 200-300 kids out there that check all the measurables. Did you spend all your summers going to Division One, all these Power 5 schools? Did you check the boxes? Did you go FCS? Lower Division One, mid-majors? How many of them camps did you attend? Still, they checking the measurable box. How many Division Two schools did you visit over your 4 years? How many times were you on Division Two campus? Because those coaches at the D2 schools, kids go to their camps, a lot of times they pick those kids. Guess why? Them kids want to be there. How many of those D2 camps did you go to over the years? Go to the same camp. Did you attend the same camp for 3 years, that same Division Two? How many times have you been on a college visit with your child? How many times you visit the school you really want to go to? How many times did you go to that campus? How many times? Did you or your player in this digital age, how many college coaches did you follow and DM on Twitter or X now? How much communication have you done with college coaches? My nephew was getting ready to go. I know I emailed. I'm talking about email now. Twitter, I got on Twitter too, but email, text. I know over 100 colleges for my nephew. Over 100. I know I did. Me personally, not my nephew. Me as the uncle. Over 100. Because I know I had to market and sell them. How many times have you done that for your child? This is everybody's fault. How many schools have you contacted via email, went to these schools, athletic website, found the coach's email address, and sent them an email about your son? How many times have you done that? How many times have you jumped on Twitter, X, or whatever, and sent a coach a message? Or tagged the coach in your son huddle video that he's dropped? How many times? Because I see coaches all the time. I'm looking for such kids. We're looking for this. We're looking for that. Man, I will go right in that comment section, load up a kid huddle, and put at that kid in the comment section. I'm in the comment section saying, hey, I got one. Here go his huddle. Here go his Twitter right here. Boom. Here you go. How many times have you done that? What have you done as a parent to sell your athlete? You keep blaming everybody else. How much work have you put in going attending camps, sending out emails, getting on Twitter, DMing, tagging coaches? How many colleges did your son or daughter tag and try to get a coach's attention? How many did they do? Does your player have the real skill sets to play on the next level? That's an honest question. Do they have the intangibles to play on the next level? Does that matrix? Do they hit the metric, whatever? Do they hit that box? Height and weight. Do they hit that? Are they checking all the boxes for the measure that a school is looking for that position? It's a lot to go into recruitment. And then on top of this, some of you parents still are not seeing the business of college now. What's really going on? I hate to keep saying it with this portal. It has affected the game, not just kids transferring. It used to be just the JUCO kids. Kid may have had a little problem, something went right, grades, whatever. They go play JUCO, boom, they're coming in. It used to be just JUCO players coming in. Now, you got the JUCO players ready. They are ballers. They ready. Transfer portal kids. And then you got the prep school kids. When prep school played post school, they played prep ball. So they clock didn't start running. You're going up against those kids now. It's a lot of those kids. So that can affect your kid recruitment on why your daughter or son hasn't received that offer. How much work have you done? You want to put the blame on everybody else, but how much work have you done? And back to that thing with the coaches. You want somebody to do something for you, maybe you've been a thorn in the program side the whole time. They're not going to do it. They tired of you. It could be just you and not the athlete. It could just be you. And a lot of this stuff has to do with timing. You have to trust that process. I keep saying again, you have to trust the process. And it's timing sometimes. It might not be the right time. His offer might come late. Well, he might not get an offer. Not because he couldn't play. A lot of things go in the mix, not because he couldn't play. It might just be a timing issue. Maybe your athlete need to go to the JUCO and prep and play. But we're going to stay on topic of why my son doesn't have an offer and it's the coach's fault. It's not always the coach's fault. Stop blaming other people. You have to put the work in yourself. Your athlete does. You do. Everyone has to come in together and put this work in. When the last time you went to call the coach and checked in with the coach and sat down with the coach and discuss the recruitment process? Y'all, when the last time you chopped it up with the coach and like, Coach, what's going on? Instead of blaming, when the last time you asked the coach, what are they saying, Coach? What's the feedback you're getting? What's the feedback you're getting on them, Coach? What are they saying? Why did they're talking to him, but why haven't they offered? It could be that he's number 3 on the board. He's not the number 1 guy on the board. He's number 3 on the board. They're waiting to see what number 1 and what number 2 is going to do. If 1 and 2 come off the board, then he moves up the board. It could just be a small thing like that. On the recruiting board, he might be 3. So they're trying to see what 1 and 2 going to do, and that's holding it up. 1 and 2 might leave. It might open up opportunity for him to come in and get that scholarship. That's what's going on. Coaches are getting crafty now with this money, or they'll recruit you. PWO prefer walk on. You're going to pay for school, but hey, they're going to put that offer out there like they want you to come as a PWO. They doing that to high school kids now too. I don't like that as much. Throwing that PWO out there now. Prefer walk on. Which means you the parent, you're going to pay for it, and they're going to sell you with that dream. He can come up here, work out, and if we like him, maybe in 2-3 years, he can earn that scholarship. Probably won't earn that scholarship. They just had you keep paying for it, and he'd be out there on the field. But at least he'll be living, or her be living their dream of playing on the next level. The game is changing with these coaches, man. It's getting ruthless out here how they doing kids. Ruthless. How they doing these kids with all these kids moving around. Like I say, 4 or 5 years ago, your son may have got that offer. Now, in this time, he might not get an offer. Or he might not get that full. He might get a partial. Might get a partial or a quarter. However they throwing them out. They're throwing out PWOs now. So you have to be careful of whose fault it is that your son does not have an offer. You talked about this aside from the coaches, you're blaming the coaches. Maybe he's trying to sell your kid. They just not looking for that. Have you been at war with the coaches? That's a factor. How good is your player? How good is Timmy? Does his size match up to his position for the next level? Is he slow? Can he run fast? Is he fast? Is he staying in contact with the coaches? That's another thing where a lot of players mess up. Coaches are in contact with these kids, and sometimes the kids are not staying in contact with the coaches. Coaches hitting them up on Twitter, maybe sending them a text or calling. A lot of times these kids are not keeping up with that. They're not doing their due diligence. They're not keeping up with the coaches. They're not hitting the coaches back, seeing where they stand. If he's in contact with you, it's still some recruitment going on. If he doesn't really contact you, then it's it's over. He's not contacting you anymore, so that you can move on for that. But what are you doing? Sometimes the family, y'all be fumbling the ball, not staying in contact with the coaches. Coach man asked for a transcript. Timmy ain't sent the transcript to the coach yet. He may ask your son, hey, can you come up here during the season? We want to get you up here to a game. You ain't never showed up to the game. Not to his game. Then he see you posting, thanks coach such for bringing me up, had a good time at the game. But you didn't make his game. He asked you to come down. A lot of coaches do that. They play like that. Come on down to my game. They'll bring you down. They want to see when you make that trip. Because if you make that trip, you're interested in being there. You're a player that want to be there in that program. Did you take that camp invitation? When they invited you to come down to camp over the summer, did you make it down? Did you take that invitation during the year when they said we're playing such, want to bring you down? Did you go? Or when you went, you didn't get the offer the first 2 times you went, and they said, hey, man, we want to bring you back up here. And you decide, no, I ain't going back up there. I've been 2 times. I ain't going back. I've heard this. I ain't going back. Wasting my gas going up there to keep playing my son. Did you go back the 3rd time or the 4th? Because one of those 2 times could have been the time you received the offer. You just didn't show up. So it's not always the coach's fault that your son doesn't have a scholarship. Every kid looks good on that huddle. They're highlights. If you on that field and you playing football, you have highlights. You're going to show your best plays. Every kid looks good until you break that game footage down and you really get to see what type of player you have on that film. When the coaches sit back and they recruit kids, and they got all the coaches in the meeting, and they're breaking your son whole game film down. They breaking that game film down. They watching the whole games now, not just the huddle. They're watching the whole games. Is he taking plays off? Does he play with effort? Look at his attitude when it's coming to his teammates after a bad play. How is he reacting after a bad play? Body language. I hear that with a lot of coaches. How's his body language during the games? Is he coachable? These are the things you need to look at, and these college coaches are looking at when they bust your son's or daughter game film down. They may have liked him at first off the highlights, but the more and more they watch his tape, the more and more they might be like, I don't think he fits us. I don't know about this one, coach. I liked him at first, but watching his film, his body language, I don't know, coach. That might be an issue. He might not just fit the program. Because they do sit and watch film on you now. They're in that war room looking for their next warrior. So they're busting down that film. Then it's come the grades. All that stuff is packaged together now. They looking for kids with that FAFSA. Maybe you make too much. It happens. Maybe they can't offer you the 3-piece, which is the FAFSA, academic and athletic. Maybe they can't put that package together for you. Maybe some schools thrive off 3-piece deal. FAFSA, athletics, and academics. Maybe you check the box for academic and athletic. And you might be left with a bill that you might not want to pay. You might not want to pay that bill. Maybe, some programs, they're working on the three-piece. They're trying to put the three-piece together. They're looking for kids that can come in and put that three-piece together, and they can put a full package deal together for you. Some programs are like that. Some programs, they'll get you in. They'll find you a little money. They might get you some good academic, good athletic, and they'll find you something in between to package you up. But do you fit the package? That's another thing. These coaches are willing and dealing. They're putting together deals to get these kids in and try to knock that bill down as fast as possible. And a lot of my friends, they're not going to be able to get no FAFSA. We're not getting no financial aid. So it's going to have to be athletics and academics. And most will prefer state school. Why? Because it's a little cheaper than going private. Privates are hitting about $40,000, $50,000 a year. So you got imagine $40,000 to $50,000 a year, and they trying to put together a scholarship package for you. You don't get any FAFSA, which is financial aid. They got to have to put together academic and athletic scholarship for you. So the grades have to be on point because you can get a lot of academic money. Then they can put together some football money, and you're probably gonna have to come out of pocket or go look for some scholarships at the school or at your school, at their school, some other things outside that you can apply for to put together a better financial package for you so you can get there and play. A lot of things go into it. Or why they're not recruiting your son. But you can't sit here and keep blaming everyone else. It could just be a timing thing. He's coming out at the wrong time. His class is a superior class. A lot of talent in his class. It could be he didn't put the work in. As far as on the recruitment side, didn't contact a lot of coaches, didn't communicate with a lot of coaches, didn't stay in contact with a lot of coaches, didn't do a lot of visits, didn't do a lot of camps. So nobody really knows about the player. It could be you. They don't like you. The coach is sticking it to you at the end. He's going to stick it to you. Is that fair to the player? No, it's not. But we're only human. He's sticking it to your ass. You've been a thorn in his neck the whole time. He's going to get you and Timmy both. I wouldn't recommend him to come up there, coach. Parent has a bad attitude. Timmy has a bad attitude. You don't want that in your program. Cancerous, as we say. Cancerous. So you're going to get it on the back end. All that screaming and hollering that you think the coaches don't hear you in the stands, don't hear you behind that football fence. They don't hear you. You think they don't hear you. He's going to give it to you at the end. You're going to blame him anyway. Might as well get you. Maybe it's you. You didn't put the work in as a parent. Y'all didn't do anything. Believe it or not, it's some kids ain't been to no camps, ain't talked to no college coaches. They haven't done anything. Their parents haven't email or text that coach, hit that coach on Twitter. Let's go to these camps. There's some kids out there playing that haven't been to any football camps. Ever. Haven't hit one coach up on Twitter or email, hadn't sent one huddle out. Barely got a Twitter account and they load up their huddle. Barely on Twitter where all the coaches hang out. There's a lot of players like that, not even on the phone, not even on the platform. Don't update the huddle on the regular. Don't do anything. Maybe because he don't know or his parents don't know. He hasn't had anybody working with him. But there's a lot of players like that. Just haven't done the work. And you think these college coaches going to just show up and give your son an offer. It does not work like that. It's a lot of work that goes in to helping kids get scholarships. A lot of backdooring, as I call it. I do a lot of backdooring. A lot of my friends are college coaches. I talk to them directly. Head coaches, I talk to them directly. Send them email. Pick up the phone and call them. Hey, I got one. Or they've turned me on to other college coaches who I built good relationships with. I send emails and texts about kids all day. They give me good feedback. Like, watch, He need to work on his footwork. I go back to the kid parent. Hey, they say you need to work on your footwork, bro. They like you. Spend this summer working on your footwork. I give feedback, whether the feedback is good or bad. I tell the people, don't look at the bad. It's bad. Look at it as something you can improve on. Look at the good at it. That's what you call working behind the scenes. I do a lot of working behind the scenes and helping parents understand what it really takes to get scholarships. A lot of behind the scene action going on. And a lot of patience and faith. That's why they tell you trust the process. It's a process. You have to trust it. It's real. It's a real thing, the process. From the start to the finish, it's a process. You have to trust it. It's going to test your faith. Believe that. It's going to test your faith. But you have to believe it and keep pushing through it, and something will happen for you. But you have to put the work in. You can't just put it all on the process. You have to put the work in as a player, off the field, on the field, academically, keeping good relationships. You have to put that work in. Do your part. Parent, do your part. Getting these kids where they need to be on these camps, these visits, on their ass about sending out that information, that huddle link, doing the little things, and being a better person when it comes to the coaches. Better communication with the coaches. And we tell kids all the time, it's just the truth. That last football game might be your last football game you ever play. It happens. No coach wants to tell a kid this is the last time you're going to play football or basketball on a team sport like this, on the school level. But the reality is, them last games really be the last game. So play every game like it's your last game, because it very could be your last game. Everyone's not going to play on the next level. I hate to say it, but that's the truth. The truth about it. Everyone's not going to get the chance to go play college ball. Now, you got some that's still going to grind. They want to play so bad, and I don't blame them. If you want to play on the next level, that shows your heart and determination. You'll go walk on. You'll go take that preferred walk on and get on that team, because it holds you a slot, that preferred walk on. Holds you a slot on the team, so you can use that to advantage. I'm on the team. I ain't getting no money, but I'm on the team. I want to play college ball on the next level. They give me an opportunity. Let me take advantage of it. You have a lot of players doing that. Big ups to them. They're doing that. Living the dream. Living the dream, playing on the next level without scholarships. But they playing on the next level. That's what their goal was, to say, I played college ball. And I salute them for that. And some kids, that's it. After high school is it. So that's my speak on who do you blame for your son recruitment. Everyone can share the blame on that. Not just the high school coach. Look in the mirror. Look at yourself. And be honest. Again, hit that like, subscribe, and share button. I need y'all to hit that like, subscribe, and share button. This is Coach DeArmond Washington with Coach Washington Sports Talk. We out.